Citizen TV, the citizen's power. Citizen TV, the citizen's power. Citizen TV, the citizen's power.
So you remember that maybe in the 80s, that was Galamsey. The military was chasing them, the police was chasing them, but the government realized that, look, people are doing it even after being chased. Soldiers will go sometimes, take their black. At that time, I didn't hear about killings though. Do all those things, but the next day they will go back. In fact, if I spoke with some people, say, oh, sometimes we hear they are coming, so we go and hide and we shout scatter, and everybody will scatter. As soon as they have left, they will go back. So it is not the most sustainable way of managing the illegal side of it. Government then, under President Rawlings, thought that why don't we somehow legalize it and then have some management around it, some control, based on the law of the country. I mean, he was talking about, I think Article 257 or something like that. So Parliament at that time, I mean, the government at that time passed the law that sort of legalized small-scale mining, and that's where the Mercury law also came up. And so it was supposed to be a way that you could go for your license and legitimately go and mine. If you recall, Sena, the drink that people drink quite well, akpeteshi. At a point in time, it was illegal to produce akpeteshi in this country. And so I'm sure there's a legal case about that. And government realized that people were drinking it. You couldn't control it, even though it was illegal. So they decided to pass a law to regulate it. Now, akpeteshi is not drunk that much. It is now, what is it, alomo bitters. It's transformed itself. There has been value added. So sometimes when you look at the situation and you put legal clothes around it properly, you stabilize the situation and you make it better. And I think that was the reason why government at that time looked at it that way. I believe that at the time that law was being made, which only said small-scale mining must be done by Ghanaians, you must be 18 years or 21 years old, and that they did not actually define what a small-scale mining is. They actually said who should do small-scale mining. And it's clear that if you are a non-Ghanaian, even if you are a brother in Burkina Faso, you're not a Ghanaian, you can't do small-scale mining in Ghana. If you are let alone if you had a color that provide the suspicion. I don't want to say that everybody who is Caucasian in their outlook is not a Ghanaian, because there are people who naturalize as well. But if you see a Caucasian mining in group, you must be suspicious. You know, you must be suspicious. The law is also very clear that you cannot mine on water bodies. Water bodies. So if you saw anyone doing what people call tutu on the water body, in fact 5 days ago I got some people to do a video for me, and there are people just turning the beds of rivers, you know, I think it was Prows or one of the rivers, and just sanctioning the sand, you know, to produce gold. This is absolutely illegal. So as soon as you saw someone doing that on waters, you must say that the person is doing something illegal, because the law says, the regulations says you can't do mining. In fact, according to the Minerals Commission, the nearest anybody can mine closer to river body is 100 meters. 100 meters is like goalpost. You know, when you go to the playing field, the soccer field, one post to another post. So that's long enough. The Water Commission says 30 meters, and even that is long enough, let alone 100 meters. So if anyone is mining any distance less than 100 meters to a water body, it is completely an illegal activity. So these regulations and the laws are there. The challenge that we have had is not only implementation. Sometimes where illegality comes in, it moves away from regulation, implementation, monitoring evaluation to enforcement. It moves to enforcement because the person is now stealing. So the person must be arrested. I use this analogy often, the highways. The highways is responsible for the construction of our highways. They don't physically do that, but they are in charge of our highways. But they are like the excavators who work on the roads. They don't even have to be on the road again. It is largely the security officers who check and see if you are driving according to the speed limits provided by law, if you are driving within the legal space of traffic. So the enforcement aspect comes in. Now, so if you're looking for how things have not worked, look for some of these things, whether and the questions that were asked were legitimate. Are we enforcing these things? Are we providing the regulations? Are the institutions providing the appropriate regulations, appropriate monitoring system, appropriate implementation system? That's a question that needs to be answered. And I would want to say that when someone is on maybe I'll quickly go on to this thing that you mentioned about a video that is going around before I come to the position of the NDC government when they come to power. When someone is drowning and he has nowhere to go, what he looks for is a straw, anything that will hang. He sees even a piece of bread in the water, he will go and hold on to it and still drown. And so I find it so funny, so strange that someone visits a small-scale mining site, and I've asked people whether they've gone to a Galamsey site before. He visits there, he stands there, and in fact, we went to two places, and then the person is the one who is escalating illegal mining. When the person went with his hands, bare hands, and his mouth, let's say, and so the whole national small-scale mining space turns illegal, and for which reason 5 constituencies were lost. What a shame. How powerful were these 4 or so men who went to 2 places to cause elections to be won or to be lost? How powerful are they? Yeah, I say that this kind of heroic adulation, I don't want to take that, because some people say because this man went, because Tony Obi went to this, we lost this. Is it because of a visit to a mining site that MPP lost some seats? Didn't they lose in areas where mining doesn't take place? My own in-law, Teshi, the minister of health, is my in-law. Didn't he lose? He lost. Is there any Galamsey in Teshi? No. There are many areas that so you lost the elections because of poor performance. And if you lost some seats in the mining areas, it is because of the impact of your activity, the impact of your inactivity, let me say, the impact of your failure to address the menacing challenge of illegal mining. Now, what is governance? When governance is a continuous affair. In 2013, President Mahama and his team actually saw that the issue of illegal mining was getting to a head. So he formed this interministerial task force, and he sent some military people to go. In fact, it was a joint military and police just to minimize the negative impact of these forces when they go to those places. In fact, his target largely was not on the Ghanaians, because President Mahama believes that those people who are actually seen on the field mining are employees. They are people who have been hired by big people who are living in Accra, Takoradi, and all that. So his target was to get them out anyway and educate them and possibly show them how to do it properly. His target was on the foreigners who were there. No wonder over 1,000 Chinese were arrested during the swoop, and some of them were actually repatriated. You know, at the time when the president sent the military there were some NPP MPs, and for want of, I mean, for fear of legal battles, I'm not going to mention names, but the MP was on radio saying what President Mahama was doing was state terrorism. State used the word state terrorism. That was then. At that time, they were in opposition. It was state terrorism. So, for about 3 months or so, this exercise had to stop. The president said, look, let's look for another way of addressing this. He thought that using the brute force would not solve this problem in a sustainable manner. So he assembled some people to think, to research, and to understand the problems and propose some solutions. Some solutions were actually proposed, and the president was excited. There were some programs that had been started, and they were going to, in fact, launch. I remember we said, let's launch this in Kumasi so that we'll have a lot of people there. And then the election came. It was around 2016. Election came, and we went. The documents were left behind because I stayed there for a while before I left. So they were, when they started saying stop Galamsey, there was no policy. I can say on authority. They had proposed a nice term, MMIP, multilateral mining improvement, something. Then I asked, so what is that multilateral? Oh, Tony, you are going to have to populate that. And I'm saying this because there are some people, whoever, you guys have to. I said, but they were handing over notes there, so you can say, yes, find a way of populating that. So we started working on that before, we all had to leave. So you learn from what the previous government has done, see the challenges that came out of it, and improve. You don't go and say, who did the worst? Who the race to the bottom? Who destroyed more? We have destroyed less. You destroyed. I mean, that was very unfortunate from somebody at that high level. So the government should have learned lessons from the task force, the activities of the task force, and the outcome, and they didn't do that. I was not the one. You were not the one who, wanting to come to power, said that I am not going to stop Galamsey. I'm sure you remember when President Akufo-Addo, then a candidate, was coming to power. He actually castigated NDC for wherever he heard that, I don't know. But he said NDC says, I am going to stop Galamsey. It's not true today, it's not true tomorrow. And that I am going to strengthen Galamsey. I didn't say that. The whole world heard it. And later on, when I spoke with some Galamsey people, they said, oh yeah, we're contributing 10,000 every area to support the campaign. So obviously he needed to do that. He came to power, saw that no, I should stop it, and so I'm going to stop it to the extent that my seat. In fact, I'll stick to my oath, and then subject myself if I'm unsuccessful in stopping Galamsey. So it was the right thing he did, that he stuck his presidency on that, because policy for cabinet to approve. That was